Good morning, everyone. Yeah, it's a slight chilly out here this morning. Uh, Excuse me. I'm not trying to start the video off by yawning in your all's ear or up in your face, but your boy just woke up and I gotta go to the library. Gotta do a few things and then get my dash on. But this is kind of actually, you guys know I've been on here and you've seen plenty of videos, obviously, on the channel about doing the whole nomad thing. Well, I'm not excluding doing that because I do want to travel, but I was sitting there, like, I almost, like, literally daily so many freaking ideas like go through my mind and such of like, what do I want to travel and live in? Because I mean, you think about it, obviously all these people that do that sort of lifestyle, you either got a camper you live in, you do the van life, bus life, schooling. I mean, I've seen so many different, hopefully it's a little bit warm enough to move, so many different, I guess, sources of ways to travel and live, because, you know, I know one of the main things about living the nomadic lifestyle is of having a cheaper, more freer way of living, if you will. And which, I mean, makes sense, because I mean, if you live either like in a camper or your van, you know, or you're just I mean, granted, yes, a van is a vehicle, but they're, depending on what type of van, excuse me, depending on what type of van that you do have, you can either stand up in them or you cannot. I mean, I know, like, the Sprinter vans, yeah, they're literally designed to be taller so you can stand up. But I was watching, it's this older gentleman. I mean, just from appearances, I mean, he looks like he's easily, I'd say, in the ballpark of 60. I'm not certain of his name. I do feel bad now that I'm actually mentioning him. But what I've seen of his videos, I know that he either has or still does live the nomadic lifestyle. And every time I see him, he is like literally interviewing other people who live said lifestyle. Come on. Oh, never mind, Prius. You had to wait yourself. Okay. So he interviews these people and such. And one of the last two that I seen, he was excuse me, again, my bad. I just freaking woke up. I mean, from the time of like literally making this video and from the time of opening my eyes, maybe a half hour. But so he was interviewing this young lady, and now she lived in, from what it appeared to be in the background, her van was one that couldn't stand up in, but it was a van, so she could live the van lifestyle and be able to save money, obviously, because if you're not paying rent, I mean, I'm sure obviously she pays for gas in order to move her vehicle and insurance, but I mean, as far as my brain can, you know, calculate it, that's literally about the only two, and besides tax per year, that's like, and maintenance, obviously, that's the gist of your bills for, you know, that part, you know, of the month of living wise. But so he was interviewing her, and of course she was mentioning of how she does DoorDash in order to make her living. And obviously you guys know from, holy crap, dude, you want to just turn a corner and take up my whole lane? Sorry, you guys see me shake my head because like he literally turned right. It's somewhat of a sharp somewhat of a sharp corner, but that's a huge, tall, standing box truck there. But like he turned and completely went into the left lane, the left turning lane, which I am currently in, sitting at the red light. But so he was, interviewing her and such, and of course asking her, how do you go about, being able to afford this type of lifestyle? And that's what she's like, I do DoorDash. And I mean, you think about it, if you live in your van or any type of vehicle, and you guys know, I've mentioned it many a times, I dash. I work literally whenever I want to. I mean, I can take, I'm coming up off of actually taking myself off 3 days. Because that's one thing I love about it. It's like, if anything is going on with either mom or the kiddo, and if they need me, I don't have to worry about calling off work or saying I'm going to be late. None of that. Obviously I know we all have our, choices of whom we want to work for and or where we want to work at, and so on and so forth. But not to get too sidetracked on that. So she was sitting there saying, like, and she made like 40 grand a year. Yeah, everybody knows that has a working brain cell nowadays knows 40 grand ain't going to get you shit. It just won't. I mean, 40 grand's 40 grand, but if you're paying like a mortgage, rent, things of that nature, you're going to have to be living like probably extremely bare, minimalistic. But if you live in a vehicle, I would about imagine 40 grand a year is probably not going to be horrible. I don't know. I'm not on that level at the moment. But, so yeah, so she does DoorDash and everything, and she lives in her van. And one positive thing to it too was like, she's like literally all her past bills, since she doesn't have rent or mortgage, she's like debt free. And I mean, who wouldn't want to fucking be debt free? I mean, I know I would. I mean, if I don't owe anybody, and then every bit of the money I make, I can literally pocket, because I don't have to pay anybody else for like rent, mortgage, things of that nature. But so he was sitting there talking to her and everything. So that was one part of like, what I was kind of getting like at the point of this video, because like, man, I've been sitting there like every single day I brainstorm and just sit there and think about different things about how to go about doing this lifestyle, because obviously I've never done it before. You guys know, you've seen it, and I've said it in countless videos. This is what I've been wanting to do for the 20 plus years. So he was sitting there, had an interview with her. Well, he also had this video where he was in I'm pretty certain it was a Home Depot parking lot, if I'm not mistaken. And now, mind you, like I said, I mean, I'm pretty certain that this man's... Now, I mean, I'm not trying to obviously judge the book by its cover by any means, but he's solid white. The hair, the beard. You don't see too many 30-year-olds with solid white hair, like, head and face. So that usually is a telltale sign of, they're a little bit up on the ladder there of age. So I'd say easily a ballpark of 65 to 70 for this guy. So, and he seems really, really hella cool. And but the second part of the video, or the second video I seen, he was up at I'm sorry if this is too windy on you guys. I don't know if you can see it, how it looks much worse like in person. But the guy, I mean, it's 35. You don't need to be up my butt, and I'm getting into town. So sorry, yeah, I'm headed up here to hit the library at first and then dash, and then of course people gotta ride your ass. So my apologies, and I know you guys can't see because it's not leaned more over towards that way, but had to roll down the window. It's getting crappy to where I can still see out of it, but it's starting to get to the point where I can't. But anyhow, he was sitting there talking about literally how the prices of or not the prices, but the sales of sheds are on the rise. And I don't know, I know it's not one thing I mentioned on here very much, or at all. But so I don't know. I know there's a handful of you that do watch my videos and that actually do know me personally. So when I mention this, you're already going to be aware. So when Pops passed away a few years back, I went ahead. Now, mind you, of course, out of 8 kids, I'm the youngest. Not married, no girlfriend, 1 daughter. So, of course, my one aunt asked me, "Are you going to go, dude? You had the clear way to go, and you don't have a turn signal." But oh well. But she's just like, just straight up asked me. She's like, "Well, when do you plan on moving back in with your mom?" It's like, not to sound like an ass, because I've obviously not only one did Dad just pass away, so it's like, not only Mom, but the rest of us kids, it's like, dude, and especially like on my, my step siblings, if you will. I take that step shit out of there because that's my fucking sisters and my brother. Their mom had passed years back, so it's like now they're on the fucking page of like both parents are gone, and I don't want to go down that path because obviously that's fucking like that fucks with my head, just like for them, and myself. But it's like both of their parents are no longer here. Now, granted, they're like I said, I'm the youngest. I'm 44, so they're all everybody, literally, I'm literally out of 8 kids, I'm the youngest. Excuse me. But, so anyhow, like, they're without both. And then, like, literally, Mom, literally across the board for, all the kids, there is no grandparents. There is no parents. Mom is literally the last parental figure in the entire scenario. But, so my aunt asked me, she's like, when are you going to move in with your mom? And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, not to be rude by any means, but it's like, what just makes you automatically assume that I'm going to move in with her? Because, like, at that time, I already had a 2-bedroom apartment, of course, for myself and my daughter. And, and tell you the prices of things, of, how much times have changed just since, Pops has passed. I had a 2-bedroom apartment, like literally everything. We had a laundry room. I'm actually not even that far, and where I'm about to go to the library is like maybe a block or 2 from where I actually had used to live at. Excuse me. But I paid $700 a month. Now, mind you, that was besides excuse me, that was without the price for paying for it. And you guys know, if you checked it out or not, I do have a video for Sammy on here. I did lose him as well. But it's like I paid $700 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. I think it was an extra. I think I paid $200 deposit to have him, and then I think it was an additional $25 a month for, I guess, pet rent, if you will. Which I understand. Animals, they do things, so it's like, if they do any type of damage or whatever, not only that $200 deposit and the $25 a month fee, something happens, or like once you move out, there's damage from animals, they have the money in order to fix said damage. But so anyhow, I did end up, obviously, as you guys know in previous videos as well, moved back in with Mom. So not only did she lose, Dad, but she also was dealing with the factor of she needed a double hip replacement. So yeah, not only mentally and emotionally was she fucked up from, Pops passing, but it's like she's literally physically fucked up because, literally needing a dual hip replacement. You could hear this woman when she walks. She just like popped and grinded from literally her bones. Not to like get you guys all wheezy and shit, but yeah, it was. It fucked with me just to hear the actual sound of that shit. It's like ugh. But yeah. So long story short, upon that part, I moved back in with mom. So, to help her out, literally, physically doing shit around the house and, things of that nature. And so basically, she wouldn't be all alone and, lonely, that whole nine. So when I did that, I was thinking, I was like, you know what? Love her dearly. It's a 3-bedroom, or no, yeah, it's a 3-bedroom house. Ah, damn it, I'm going the wrong way. I was sitting there. Well, obviously I'm paying attention to the road, making a video here for you guys, but I should have went to the right to go back to the library, but that's alright. I can go down here and go around. No big deal. So I end up, moving in with her, and like I said, 3-bedroom house. So not like that there wasn't not only room for myself, but of course whenever my daughter came over, she had a room as well. So we literally all three had a bedroom. I at the time didn't want to live in the house per se, so I went ahead and I know this is not even a parking spot, but I don't care. Actually, I need to move over there because I do have the handicap placard, so that way I don't have to worry about any potential issues of getting a parking ticket, because I was just literally, as I'm backing out of the spot, it's one of those spots where it's got the little white lines going across, so it's not even at all a parking spot. And I'd much rather park in this spot since I do have a placard, and I can do that and not park over there. Alright, so we are here at the library, and but I still got a little bit to go here on this video, so bear with me. Kick back here. So okay, so I moved back in with mom, okay, and so of course not only obviously herself, but I mean the rest of us. Yeah, I mean it didn't of course only affect mom, it affected all of us. And I do apologize, I know I'm all up in your guys' face, but I'm trying to see if I can adjust. I know I can. Screw it, we'll just kind of turn the whole freaking mirror. It's on a plastic little mount here, and considering the fact that it's been really cold, I know between the coldness, like the weather fluctuation, and plastic, I'm not trying to break my phone mount because this thing is freaking awesome, especially whenever I'm trying to A, do videos, and B, doing DoorDash. This mount is hella awesome because, I mean, look at it. It's right here at eye level, perfect. I just moved it, so moved in and everything, and it's like, you know what? No offense to mom or anything, but it's like, I don't necessarily want to live in that house. I kind of still want to have like my own privacy, if you will, of having my own spot. So I bought a shed. Full intentions of literally turning it into a tiny home. So, and now mind you, I did. I bought a shed. I don't think I've ever put it on here or anything because, well, I'll get to the reasoning of why here in just a second. But so I bought a 12 by 20 shed, and I was even able to customize it, of what color, material, the whole nine of it. And now mind you, I don't really watch, you guys know I don't watch TV. I hardly even watch any bit of sports anymore, but I do live in Ohio, so we have two baseball teams, Cincinnati Reds, Cleveland Indians. I am down here where we live, say 40 minutes from downtown Cincinnati. I've been a Reds fan since childhood. So I end up getting it custom to where the roof, black, sides, red, trim, white. The Reds colors. So, and it's 12 by 20 if I hadn't already mentioned that. So, I mean, it's not like extremely huge, but it's got some room to it. And, so bought that, had full intentions of myself moving into it, but that's not the case right now, which is not bad. Excuse me. I did very good. I'm proud of myself. The entire trip up here, I don't think I did jump besides like literally on the one main path from the house. So now mind you, it's a 12 by 20. There's an 8-foot when you walk in the front doors of it, directly above your head is a 4-foot loft. Straight down at the end of it is an 8-foot loft. I had intentions of making the 8-foot loft basically my bedroom, if you will. I was just going to throw a mattress up there, make it stupidly fucking simple. Just having a mattress up there to where, of course, I can climb up a ladder when I'm tired and everything, ready to go to bed for the night. Boom, just climb up there, lay on the mattress, call it a night. Well, within all of this situation, I end up getting custody of my daughter. And, well, long story fully on that, because I'm not going to make, because I'm not trying to detour from my main point of all this, but, I mean, you know, as being teenagers, like, hell, if you got like an attic room or, you know, a basement, you know, somewhere cool, like you're a teenager, you want to have a cool ass bedroom or whatever. Well, the shed has electric, insulation, drywall. I mean, it's literally built, besides being a shed, it's literally built to be lived in. The only thing it does not have is a bathroom in the kitchen. So, and the kiddo asked me one time, she's like, hey, do you mind if I have my bedroom out there? I'm like, no, why not? I mean, it's perfect for you to have as a bedroom, considering, like I just mentioned, there's no kitchen, there's no bathroom in there. But I mean, to walk through the backyard of like, what, maybe 30 feet to come back into the house, obviously the house has got a bathroom and a kitchen. So it's like, hey, you know, you're a teenager, you want a cool ass bedroom? Here's the shed. That, I mean, she was more than happy to move into it. And obviously, you know, I don't have any, you know, objections to that, because it's literally like a tiny house and it's like completely warm out there. She even has a fucking one of those little electric LED fireplaces. So it's legit nice as fuck. Like I said, I mean, you guys know, I mean, hell, if watching this, you're either a teenager yourself and you have a cool ass bedroom, or you're a parent and you have a teenager. You understand what I'm getting at. It's like, dude, it's fucking cool to have, you know, a different type of fucking room. So, currently, she lives out there. I'm in the house. Like I said at the beginning part of this part of the conversation, I bought it in intentions of me living out in it, because when I first bought it, I mean, I bought it, I'd say less than within the first month of moving in. So, and at that time, not to go down into this business by any means, because not to be rude or anything else, but it's like, what I'm sort of getting at isn't anyone else's business. I'm just like putting a part of it out here to explain the why. Well, now, you know, you have seen in previous videos, she is now 18, so, you know, that is what it is. You know, she's a legal adult, you know, age-wise. But when I bought it, she still lived with her mom, and, you know, how all that shit works. Well, she now lives with me. I have full custody, the whole nine of that. Like I said, not going down that path because, well, again, not to be rude, nobody else's business, and it's not even a part necessarily of the conversation of the point I'm getting at. But so yes, I bought it in the intentions of myself living in it and everything else, hence why I put the money into it, to literally make it livable, because it very much is at the moment. So she's in it, but so you guys got all of that gist. So I'm sitting there watching, as like I've told you guys many times, that I've even thought about like doing the Coleman 17R. Those are fucking cool. Don't get me wrong, they're fucking cool, but it's like, and I'm not saying I couldn't learn how to do it, but it's like, I've never pulled anything with any type of vehicle. I mean, nothing. As far as I'm aware, in my 44 years of life, I've never pulled anything. Not to say, obviously, I can't learn how to do something. I mean, you can always learn how to do something that you haven't done before. It's the whole part of life, you know, you learn new shit. Adventure, you know, so on and so forth. But, so I was sitting there thinking about that. Then I'd had the idea of like, fuck it, I can buy just a tent, make shit even simpler. It's like, you know, I can rent, you know, if I want to, you know, with the nomadic lifestyle, if I want to go from campsite to campsite, just pay for the campsite, have a fucking tent. there's no insurance that you gotta put on a fucking tent because it's a fucking tent. But like, you know, people are sitting there saying like, yeah, well, like when it rains or like high winds. But like I said, I've done so much research, and I probably guarantee you that up until the point that I actually go about living this type of lifestyle, I'm still going to do all kinds of research to where I'm going to at least know like a good strong 90 to 95% that I'm going to be not only safe, but for whatever I do live in, I can be safe and comfortable in it and not have any worries. So, like I said, I was sitting there thinking about the camper. Nothing wrong with the camper. I've just never pulled anything. So, like, say if that would come down the line, if that would be something I did, obviously, you know, I'm going to need to learn how to maneuver with, you know, pulling a trailer. So there's the camper. There's the tent. I've even made videos of sitting there saying I want to get a schoolie. I've never driven a school bus. Excuse me. I personally, if I would go down that road, I'm not going to get a full-size bus. I don't need it. I would only get probably anywhere between a 5 to a 7 window bus. They're, I'd say, about mid-size. If you guys have seen a bus, you know of how big they are. Well, you know, of course, that's an option. I've also thought about, what is it? The camper, tent, a schoolie, box truck, like a U-Haul or something. And I mean, you even think about that. What are U-Hauls or box trucks of that general nature? What are they built for? What's the nature of them? To move your shit. Why couldn't you I've seen even on YouTube, there's been plenty of people I've seen that have built some dope ass, basically like looking studio apartments in the back of a fucking box truck, and they're fucking nice. I mean, I've seen some of them be hell of a lot nicer than some people's actual fucking apartments, and it's like, damn, that's fucking nice. Excuse me. But so I mean, you think about it, like right there, boom, obviously they're designed to, you know, haul your shit. Who says you couldn't fucking live in one? Again, only insurance, maintenance, gas, boom. That's your, as far as I can think of off the top of my head, that's the most expensive expense that you would have for your living situation. Not saying, like, obviously your groceries, like nowadays, those will probably definitely outnumber, you know, the cost of at least that, you know, rent of, you know, your maintenance, gas, and insurance, because we all know fucking food is just, that's a whole fucking different situation and story. But, so like I said, I was sitting there thinking camper, tent, schoolie, U-Haul. I mean, I've been literally, this brain hurts, honestly, at times where I've done so much thinking and so much research on how to go about living as comfortable of a lifestyle as I can, living the nomadic lifestyle, because like I'm sitting there trying to think of like the most cheapest way to going about doing it, and obviously the most cost effective. Now, I was also sitting there, I've been even looking into like pop-ups. Those are fucking simple. Some of them are very cheap depending on, you know, what you get and, you know, the age of them and all that. I was also looking into actual truck campers. Dude, there's some truck campers that are fucking dope as shit, man. I mean, some of these things I've seen that are better looking than some of the apartments I've lived in. Yeah. I mean, granted, some of the prices are up. Like, I seen one, it was about, my parents' first house was $40,000. Now, mind you, that was back in, like, the later 90s. But, like, this one I seen last night, shit, that fucker was, like, damn near $64,000. Yeah, $64,000 for basically to having an apartment in the bed of your truck. But I mean, you also sit there and think you can literally park damn near fucking anywhere And now, granted, of course, that's the maintenance and things to your vehicle, because you're literally hauling your home in the bed of your truck. But so I've sit there and I thought about so many different ways to go about of living this lifestyle and making it as absolutely as cheap as possible. So then this morning I got done streaming, which obviously you guys know if you follow the channel or whatever. If you're new here, hello and welcome to the channel. You guys will see that at night or sometimes during the day, excuse me, this channel isn't, of course, all about just making, DoorDash videos and, random clips and shit like that. I do also, stream video games on the channel as well. But I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, you know what? I kind of think I just, forgot what I was just actually talking about anyways. But yeah, I mean, I'd just be sitting there, and I was laying in bed, after I was sitting there, I was like, because I was talking to my one friend that she lives out in Oregon. We've been, gaming a couple nights here. And I was in there even mentioning to her, I was like, dude, I was like, it was the pop-up. I was like, pop-up's not bad. I was like, they're small. I mean, I don't need a whole lot of shit. I mean, I am fucking extremely fucking simple. She was explaining to me what, benefits that she thinks from getting a pop-up. I was like, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't imagine, with a pop-up camper, even rolling the Chrysler here, I mean, I would probably have to get, a smaller truck in order, just for, of course, with the weight, to see how much I could pull with. I don't know if the car itself can pull that weight. But I was sitting there mentioning to her about that, and mentioning to her about the truck camper, because the truck camper, granted, I mean, you can pull up in the parking lot and live in that son of a bitch for a day or two or whatever. Or if you wanted to pull up in the middle of literally nowhere in the forest or whatever, you can, because it's hello, right there is your house and such. So as I was sitting there thinking and everything, and this kind of wraps it back to the older gentleman that had the interview with the young lady in the van, and that was at also the other video where he was it wasn't doing any interviews, but he was just basically kind of doing this where somebody was holding the camera and he was just making the video and such. And he was at Home Depot, hence what I was getting at with the shed. And he even mentioned, which, I mean, it makes sense, because you can think about if any of you guys know of anything about the nomadic lifestyle, hell, you guys might even live that lifestyle and you're new to coming to see the channel, so you may have a whole lot more information considering if you've ever lived or if you are living that lifestyle. And from what he said, which makes a lot of sense, I mean, obviously, as of right now, say if I went out to do this, say today or tomorrow, and started living the lifestyle, he's talking about a home base, which I get what he's sitting there saying, because, I mean, technically, through the eyes of other people, if you're looking at doing the nomadic lifestyle, a lot of people are like, well, you're either homeless or you're houseless. Not everybody wants that responsibility of having that, but whatever that you're living in still comes with responsibilities of some type of maintenance. I mean, nothing in this life, you guys know that, nothing in this life is ever going to be free, but depending on what you actually want and need in life is going to make a excuse me, it's going to make a different story on of how much that your life is going to cost you. So with the shed and a home base, I've almost got the shed paid off. And mind you, I've told you guys what, at some given point, I will give you guys an inside look, but it's the kiddo's bedroom right now, so no, I'm not going to invade her privacy and make a video of, looking inside of the shed, but you get the gist of it. It's a 12x20. It's got literally everything: power, insulation, drywall. We never painted it because my intentions were to get posters and tapestries to cover the walls, so I could put my own style to it, because for one, I fucking despise painting. That shit, it annoys me. I know there's literally people out there that make a living painting. fucking kudos. Kudos to y'all. I no hate by any means, because, I mean, fuck it, I'm sure that you guys make good-ass money at doing it, but no, not my fucking thing. So, like I told her, you know, excuse me, like I told her, with having that, I was like, you know, it's literally built like a fucking tiny house. It's got all of what I just explained. We even laid carpet padding down and carpet. So it's like you walk in, and of course, obviously, you know, she has it, you know, with her style and, you know, her decorations, if you will, and so on and so forth, to make it her place. But from what dude was sitting there saying, I know I'm kind of jumping around here a little bit, but I hope that you guys are kind of like keeping up pace with what I'm getting at. So dude was sitting there talking about having a home base, which makes sense, because I mean, if you're out on the road, I mean, I have so many different Facebook pages that I'm, you know, a part of having different forms of the nomadic lifestyle. And the dude that was interviewing the young lady and at Home Depot, he's like, you know, he's like, having this lifestyle, he's like, it's always still nice to having that home base. And it was like, you got a valid point there, guy, because like, say if I was to do anything of like mobily, you know, of living nomadic, each year you're going to need to get, you know, a sticker for your license plate. I'm pretty certain across all 50 states that we've got to have a sticker for our license plate. So I mean, you got to have that sent somewhere. And if you don't switch the state, you know, by which you live in each year or whatever, then obviously you got to find a way of going about doing certain things or whatever. So when he was sitting there talking about the home base, I'm like, you know what? When she moves out, when the kiddo moves out and everything, and the shed is basically back in, I guess, if you will, the situation of where it was at from before she moved into it, it's going to be an empty 12 by 20 shed, one big ass room. I was like, you know what, dude? I was like, you're going to say, I don't think you guys see, like, literally anything that's going across my screen. Was like, of course, I got the timer, and then I'm getting messages and such, but, so it's already almost paid off. And once the kid moves out and everything, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, you know what? I had a thought of like, well, I was like, with it being how it is, like it's already livable, obviously. It's like, I could either A, sell it and use that money to buy whatever, you know, I wanted to live in, sell it, trade it, you know, whatever, what have you, or I could keep it because it'll be paid for. It's a structure. It's very much livable. Hence, like I said, the kiddo lives in it. It's literally an 18 by 20 shed, but it's straight built. I mean, obviously on the outside, it looks like your typical shed. You go on the inside, it straight up looks like a little fucking studio apartment. So I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, As I was laying in bed this morning, I was like, home base. And granted, you can obviously move sheds about. I mean, granted, you'd have to, of course, get a hold of the company that either sold it to you or a company that, you know, has the equipment that can move that. So I was sitting there thinking, excuse me. I was like, you know what? I was like, this is definitely not out of the question at all. I'm like, I already almost had this thing paid off. I mean, I think it's like $3,000 or less to pay it off. And I'm like, I put all this money and this time into it to make it livable. I'm like, who says, like, in a different state, I couldn't buy some property, obviously have the utilities and things of that nature ran out there for, you know, power and so on and so forth. Excuse me. Who says I couldn't do that? just, I mean, of course, now granted, with the property and everything, I wouldn't have like any rent or whatever, because of course I own my shed, but I know and I understand that, I would have property taxes to pay each year. But if that would be the only thing that I would have is my property taxes, I mean, of course, utilities. So those two bills, if that would be the only thing that I would have, that sounds very, very interesting to me. Because, like, now, granted, like, of course, I got to sit there talking about the company of moving the shed and such. Yeah, I could, I don't know how much that would cost, but, excuse me, I'm sure it wouldn't be cheap, but, and depending, of course, of where I want to move it from where I'm at currently to wherever I would decide to literally, excuse me, sorry guys, wherever I would actually have it set at. So, like I'm sitting there saying, like, home base. I'm like, it's already basically a home. So if I bought a piece of land wherever I would decide to have my home base at, I could do something of that nature. I mean, obviously, it's still going to cost money, but to pay, obviously, to buy the property of wherever I would buy it at, and then pay whatever company it would be in order to move it. That sounds like a really good idea in my head as well, because, like, that would be my home base. And I could still say, if, like, I wanted to travel around still to, like, different states and such, I could still do that. Because I would be owning my property where the shed's at. And between yearly property taxes and whatever utilities I would need to pay for in order to obviously have my, my utilities, I could still travel at any given point because I don't have that mortgage payment to pay. My shit's already fucking, well, whenever I would, be down the road living in it, myself, I would not have a rent or a mortgage. So it's like, that money out the fucking window. Every bit of that money's in my pocket. Besides, like I said, property taxes at the end of the year, my, my monthly utilities or whatever. But it's like, if I do that, basically my house is already paid for. It's just a factor I need to find out where to fucking plant it at. And I could travel anywhere I wanted to. So I was like, say if I did want to, say fuck it and actually, buy a van or something to travel and to live in, or, things of that nature. Now with having the shed like at a home base or whatever, obviously I would still, be there, but I would enjoy still, not full on like living the nomadic lifestyle because I had that actual house to live into. But it's not to knock out the idea of still being able to travel, but also having that home base to where, you still have a actual place to go back, but you also still have that freedom of moving about and traveling anywhere that you want to. So, and usually I'm just, I don't know, like at times I'm stubborn to my own damn self. So like I said, I'm constantly sitting there thinking of different ideas on what I want to do. And it's like, man, I was like, after I thought about that, I'm like, why get rid of the shed or trade it? Because it's like, I could literally use that. And it sounds like a really, really good idea to me of like keeping that and just like, not really necessarily like starting to do the research now, but then again, it wouldn't hurt to kind of like see around of what state I would want to plant the shed at to have my property and such, but kind of see like what states that I would have an idea of living in, and kind of getting like a ballpark figure of like what some property would cost. Because I would say, knowing myself of how much I like being solo, and I mean, I know I'm not the only one out there, and you guys know I'm not throwing any hate out here, but it's like being away from people. I know there's a fuck ton of us out there that want to be away from people. I mean, that's human nature to some of us. We either want to be in crowds, or we just simply want to be by ourselves and not around anybody. So, yeah, so I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, I'm gonna start doing that actually, just because I mean, it never hurts to. I mean, it never hurts to do your research and all that. So I think I want to start trying to like look around a few different states to see of what I can get. I think I would probably go up to like something of that nature. I say between like if I could find like 5 to 10 acres, just to drop my shit on, and then that way I can have my spot, have the room to, be able to live and, not have anybody write up my keister. That sounds like a good idea to me. So I have that thought in my head, and I think that's something I actually want to go through with. It's like, I already, at that point, obviously, like I said, whenever I go about moving, I basically already have my house paid for. Well, I will have my house paid for. I'll just have to find the land to buy to put it on, and pay my monthly utilities and my yearly property tax, and call it a day. And then I can fucking travel wherever I want to. And since I won't have that mortgage or rent, I can save a lot of fucking money that way. And with a shed, there's not really any maintenance, guys. I mean, I could probably, and if anything, by all means, if I would even potentially need to, I don't think I would even need to go any bit bigger, because like I was even looking at this lady's, she had a 12 by 20 shed, and how she had it laid out, she had her kitchen put in there, and I thought it was really cool how she did it, because like she actually made like a little room for the kitchen, and made like some like sliding barn door style where like it closed off the kitchen. I thought it looked really cool. And she even built herself like a little small small restroom in it. So she had her kitchen, she had her restroom, she had like a little bitty like half of a portion of a wall to make for a I mean, it wasn't a bedroom per se. It was literally just like, I think that the wall portion itself was as long as the bed, but it was like maybe 2 feet higher than the bed itself to make it like blocked off as, her bedroom. And I think she had like a full size or whatever, but I don't need a whole lot of room. I'm extremely simple. So, yeah. I'm really liking this idea. I mean, it's really, really sticking with me rather well, and I like that, because the factor of knowing I would have some land, nobody around me, I can be peaceful and by myself, and I most likely would definitely have it somewhere like in a wooded area, because man, being like at home and like being literally out with nature and such, that would be so amazing. So but yeah, sorry, I know it took forever to kind of get to the point, but I was wanting to like, I want to explain like all angles to kind of give you guys and make an understanding of it, because there's so many different routes that you can go about doing that type of lifestyle. But it's just like, dude, I literally have this shed, and it's like, I pretty much have a home, and excuse me, why not do that? It's already paid for. The only thing, like I said, probably aside of buying like property or whatever, it would cost me to literally, to remove it from my mom's property to move it to wherever I plan on planting it at and living. So it's kind of sounding like a better idea to me, because like, yeah, that's my home base and my house is paid for. And my bad if I cut myself off. Like I said, like that lady's bedroom if you will, like where she had, of course, her bed like pretty much like up in a corner, and like the height of where the bed was at, I think like the little half portion of the wall was like 2 feet higher than the bed. So like it was a bedroom, if you will. It was just like literally like a little wall that was like, I think from like where her wall was at and the front door, there was like maybe 2 to 3 feet of a space. Like, I mean, it's 12 by 20. It's not huge, but she also didn't, well, I mean, I guess she did live in it, because like I think she was on family's property or possibly even her own. But but yeah, I mean, even sitting there watching that, it's like, dude, I literally have the same exact dimensions as what you do, and it's like, I could totally do that. So, yeah, I think I want to think and ponder on that, and then I think I want to do some research just to kind of get like a ballpark figure of what property costs like in certain states, because yes, I'm moving out of Ohio. That's happening. At some given point, I'm getting the hell up out of here. I've lived here for 44 years, and your boy's got to go somewhere else. I mean, in a way, I want to say there's nothing wrong or bad about Ohio, but I don't want to live here the rest of my life. I just don't. I want to get out there, and I want to see different places, and, you know, especially if I can have a cheaper lifestyle elsewhere or like all over the place, then yeah, I'm gonna do that. So, like I said, my bad. I know it was kind of a long video, but as far as I'm aware, I kind of broke it down to give you guys kind of an understanding of what's going on up here and like the thoughts and ideas of what I want to do. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I was just sitting there thinking, like, dude, the fucking shed's almost paid off. It's very, very much feasibly, obviously, livable. So, definitely not going to overlook that possibility by any means, because, yeah. But I think, honestly, I think right now that's about the gist of it. About the gist of it. I wanted to, like, all that shit was up in my head. I'm like, dude, I want to make a video about that, because, like, you know, like I said, there might be people out there that watch this video, or you guys may watch my videos and understand that, you know, you've either have lived the nomadic lifestyle or you currently do, and it's like, hey, why not make a video and put the ideas out there? Somebody else either might have that same idea, or, you know, put some input into it or whatever. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up and go in here in the library. I got a few things to do, and then as soon as I'm done at the library, then your boy's gonna get his dash on, so of course I can make some money. And yeah. And for anybody, one, thank you for staying to the end of the video. Like I said, I did not expect it to go this long, but hey, I wanted to be as detailed, you know, as I potentially could be for, you know, at least this this video and such. I'll be back on later on tonight. I know this is Friday, so either between tonight, tomorrow, or Sunday, I will be on with a buddy of mine. Now, this is gaming purposes of the channel. So, like, of course, like, if you guys do watch and follow the channel, you guys obviously know I do stream on the channel. But a buddy of mine, I don't think he's necessarily really working on the channel so much anymore, but I still will give him a shout out. So, I mean, if you guys do want to go there and check his channel out, obviously I'm sure he would not mind one bit. It's at, I don't think there's an underscore anymore. I'm pretty certain it's just at Johnny Arkham 90. Like I said, if you guys want to go there and check him out or whatever, I don't think, obviously, bro, you know, I'm not, you know, throwing any shade your way. Just pretty certain you sit there and mentioned the other night that you're not necessarily worried about, you know, focusing on it so much, or so to speak, any bit more. But I mean, never hurts to route some people over there to check out the channel or whatever. You might, you know, you might gather yourself a sub or two. But yeah, if you guys want to check out his channel or whatever, obviously, you know, you're more than welcome. But we are going to be we've done about halfway through. It's a game called A Way Out. If you guys have played it, you already know. If you haven't, it is definitely a co-op game. It's a prison-based game, if you will, and it's been like 3 months since we played it, so we both want to get it wrapped up. So either from tonight or Sunday night, between those 3 days, we're going to get that wrapped up. So that'll be finished up for you guys, for whomever has actually watched it. We do want, I mean, I'm going to actually, you know, step up here and apologize for him, because I'm sure that he would, you know, do the same. We do apologize. It's been a 3-month gap between playing it the first time and now, but I mean, shit, life happens, and, you know, so on and so forth. Everybody has different schedules and, you know, things of that nature. So we did say we want to get that wrapped up this weekend. I will also, once we finish that up, I'm probably going to finish up Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, because now on that, I'm only going to stream until the beach. I'm not going to do the entire game because I've already streamed it once, but I've had a couple people say that they did want to watch me stream it again, but the only thing I'm going for on this run, whenever I do get back into it, is Chatterbox. And anybody that's played it or is aware of it, you get the trophy for Chatterbox on the beach. It's not at the end of the game, but it's obviously closer to the end of the game. But I will stream it because, like I said, I do have a few people that want to watch me stream it, so I will do that. But I'm giving you guys a heads up if you do watch this video, or like in the future of, and I'll even of course mention it once I get back on there. Your boy's only going to stream it to the point of getting Chatterbox, and then once Chatterbox pops, then the Platinum will pop, then I'm done with the game. So it'll be done, and then on to the next game. But yeah, with that being said, guys, so like I gave you guys kind of another description of another thought and idea of the living situations here within the next year or two, and then what I will be streaming next. So you guys have a fantastic weekend. It is Friday. Obviously, I don't know whenever you will be seeing this, but have a fantastic weekend, and I'm sure with me dashing here in a bit, you guys will see videos or like, shorts or whatever, and tune in later on tonight and you'll see us streaming a way out. So with that being said, thank you guys so much. Like I said, I did not mean to make this like stupid. I mean, like, I'm almost at an hour. I didn't intend on that, but hey, I got a whole lot of shit out here, and so yeah. Thank you for stopping by and watching. Do all that mumbo jumbo as everybody says at the end of their videos. You guys know I don't like doing that, so I'm not going to. You get the drift. You know what your guys' job and role is to do on the other end of watching the video. So do what you do, and we'll see you guys later on tonight. And you guys have a fantastic weekend. Later.